heartless administration, heartless outcome. Legal aid for immigrant children halted without notice. Put it up for a man. So the Trump administration halts legal aid for migrant children. This leaves some children to navigate courts by themselves. So tens of thousands of immigrant children who arrived in the United States without a parent could actually lose their lawyers after federal funding was abruptly put on hold Tuesday, February 18th. In the Mid-South, hundreds of minors are affected by the stop work order. No one knows how long it will last or if funding will eventually resume. Throwing the work into chaos. This was their purpose. This is their intent, okay? The organizations say the children are at risk because the Trump administration suspended a key program late Tuesday ordering that the Center for Justice and its subcontractors immediately stop work on $200 million contract to provide representation for their children entering the country alone. Now, I want to remind everyone, this money has been approved. This money was already approved. So why is the administration doing this? Because of an earlier federal court ruling that recently ruled that the administration has the right to basically take money back. And now they are doing it, even though they've done it before without the guise of case law. They are now doing it in this case as well. So Daniela Hernandez, an immigration attorney who provides free legal services to about 60 children in Pasadena, California, said during a news conference on Wednesday that some of her clients who are as young as two, have court hearings as soon as Friday. Quote, what is this 2-year-old client supposed to do without her attorney? She said, who will speak for her in court? Who will explain to her and all our other clients in foster care who have not only nobody, no adult in the United States to care for them? They will now have to navigate a very complex legal immigration system on their own. The Interior Department gave no explanation for the stop work order, telling the group only that it was done for, quote, causes outside your control and should not be interpreted as a judgment of poor performance. The halt remains in effect until further notice. The immediate stop work order pertains to a grant issued to the center in DC as the prime contractor. And the more than 90 nonprofits across the nation that do the work of representing 26,000 minors who came into the country unaccompanied by a parent. Because they are children, they are not deported, and they have a right to legal representation in their immigration case. The Trafficking Victims Protection Act of 2008 created special protections for the children who arrived in the U.S. without a parent or legal guardian. It said the government should facilitate legal representation for the children put into deportation proceedings, though it did not mandate every child have a lawyer. So what the act does, it provides a framework for court navigation, okay? That has been taken away. The children are detained wherever they are apprehended, and the U.S. notifies the support agency in the region where they are located is the way it is supposed to work. Now, you have had a stop payment of the funds. The program runs by way of the allocation of the dollars for said contract. The Trump administration, they have learned some things. Trump has some individuals who are absolutely bigoted, but they're brighter than the first crew he had the first time. You don't have to repeal the law. You don't have to go to Congress. No, don't do anything noble like that. Don't make a case. Don't do your job, Trump. You don't have to get people behind you. Just take the money back and say nothing. Let them figure it out. It is cold, it is heartless, and we're talking about children. So if you are still in support of policies like this, you can miss me with your religious BS. You can miss me with your holy roller rhetoric, because there's nowhere in the hell you can have love for God or love for your faith or love for children and love this man with this policy. These children are still children. You know, I often consider how people of faith, allegedly, will somehow contextualize this policy as a good policy, still go to church, still say they love God and love people. They would talk about a savior, but then they would do this by way of policy. They will agree that this is a good policy. You know, if you are reminded of your own text when the Christ said, Yahshua said, if anyone causes this child to stumble, it would be better to tie a brick around their necks and be thrown into the sea. That's what your Messiah said. Now, if I recall, Yahshua did not proclaim if they happened to be a migrant or not. So understand who you are in his context. Brother, this is one of the most heartless policies, real world effect, immediate implementation effect, and immediately has thrown the courts, the immigration courts, into a frenzy. They don't know what to do. The administrators of the program have no idea what to do. These are good-hearted people that work for nonprofit organizations. They went to law school and they're doing something with their lives that brings them peace and virtue and value. And all of a sudden, they are in the middle of this political nightmare where they can't help the very children that they serve. What say you?
Yeah, it's like, it's as if we didn't really know how heartless this administration is, that now they're going out of their way to show, no, we're even more heartless, right? We had kids in cages. Now we had kids without representation. I mean, what's next? What are they going to start taking the toys away? Kids without toys. Donald Trump says no toys for kids. I mean, this is a heartless administration. You got people like Stephen Miller involved. You got people like Donald Trump. You got others. And they're not serious, by the way, about immigration. Because if they were, then during the Biden administration, when the Republicans and Democrats got together and they came up with a bill to do something about immigration, which leaned very right, by the way, they would have wanted that to go through. But Donald Trump famously told his cronies to not pass it so he can keep running on immigration. And they say that they're trying to weed out the bad apples. They're trying to weed out the criminals. So you're telling me these 26,000 children are criminals? You're telling me that 2-year-old is a criminal? Where is the humanity? It's not there. Where is the idea, by the way? If you want to be selfish, if you want to be a selfish American, we need immigrants. We need immigrants to work in America. We need people to help our population. And this is actually not good for the economy. This is not good for us. And again, our image in the world just gets worse and worse. And they keep complaining. They keep blaming the immigrants. They keep saying that these guys are coming across the border. How about Congress gets together and actually comes up with a immigration policy for the year 2025? How about they come up with a way to give people from, let's say, Mexico who want to work in America, multiple entry visas so they can come in and work and then go back, and come in and work and go back? How about we stop pillaging other countries to the point where there's such poverty that people need to flee those countries to come here? So there's a lot of blame to go around. And I think we are to blame for it. Our history is to blame for it. And here we are exacerbating the situation rather than actually helping it. It's just blind. It's not smart in any way. It's not beneficial to us. And I agree with you. If anybody is looking in the mirror and saying that I am a person of God and I am supporting this, then that person is hypocritical and lying to themselves.
That's right, in a significant way. All right, we'll bring you updates as they come.